Good evening, afternoon, night, morning, whenever you find a way to watch and listen to this podcast. It is me, Omar Rashawn T. Borja, the Burger Popper, and joining me is a very special guest. I'm very excited to have him on, and he was able to fit me in on short notice on his very busy schedule. But I have John Sizemore, the athletic director of Northeastern State University, and we're here to talk about just their independent scheduling approach because they are the lone independent Division two, but also more importantly, and I guess closer range in terms of happening. They're going to be playing in one of three Division two bowl games occurring this year. They'll be playing in the first Americans Bowl on the first Saturday of December against East Central University. Northeastern State had a very resurgent year this year after winning, I think it was 16 games over the past 11 years. You guys went 8-3. Really one of the stories of the year. And it's just funny. I stumbled across just Northeastern State after seeing them on FB schedules, scheduling a couple of FCS opponents. So it's just funny how things turn out, and I'm pretty excited for the first Americans Bowl. My wife, daughter, and I will be attending that on the first Saturday. I'm just excited just to bring coverage on the channel and on Redshirt Sports. But without further ado, enough of an introduction from me. Mr. Sizemore, thank you for joining.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here, and we appreciate the opportunity to speak and tell us a little bit of story about us and what we're doing in this bowl game.
Yes, sir. I mean, thank you again for your time. Really excited just to learn about it. So, I guess my first question is, I mean, there aren't many Division two bowl games. How long was this in the works, and like, how did the idea come to be?
Yeah, so it's been in the works for some time. We're one of the largest indigenous student-based schools in the entire country as far as Division two. We have the largest indigenous population. Over 40% of our student athletes and students here at NSU have some type of indigenous background. And we're also home of the Cherokee Nation. This is where their headquarters is at, and it's the largest tribe in the country. And so, being rooted in the Cherokee Nation, this area with, their home base, and then their roots into this school itself, it's just something that's been in planning stages for a long time. This was originally Cherokee Nation School many years ago, and it was started by the Cherokees. And so the tradition here is just enriched in the heritage. And we wanted to do something that would bring value to the indigenous heritage from all tribes all across the country. And so working with an outside third-party group called Seven Clans, who initiated this bowl game. We've been working with them for a little over a year now on trying to put this bowl game together. And honestly, we were a little behind on trying to get it put together this year, but we decided to go ahead and move forward with it. Seven Clans wanted to push it through and get some things going this year and kind of establish it as the first one. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just glad to know that this bowl has something, I guess, more of a deeper meaning, like you say. I mean, I just moved to Oklahoma in July, and I mean, the Native American, I guess, culture and heritage is just ever so present. I mean, even where I'm at out here in Elgin slash Lawton, Oklahoma, or Fort Sill. So it's just very interesting, and I just love just being around it, to be honest. So I'm just glad that there's a bowl game honoring that.
Yeah, it's just really awesome to be a part of something that's so special and it's so rooted in our culture and our heritage, and especially here at Northeastern State. But then also, you take into consideration all the schools that are supported by tribal affiliates throughout the entire country, not even Oklahoma. There's a lot of schools that have tremendous support from tribal affiliates. And so, for that reason, too, we want to be able to showcase those things throughout the entire country, and not just an opportunity for NSU to play in a bowl game, but there'll be a bowl committee that has already been put together that for the years to come will select two tribal affiliate schools that will be involved in this bowl game year after year after year. And so that could be a tribal affiliate from Colorado to the West Coast, just depending on, what the kind of the guidelines play out and what it looks like at the end of the year.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I think that's a good segue to the next question I had in terms of team selection. I know East Central is nearby, and there's a lot of history. And I guess can you take me into like what the East Central Northeastern State rivalry kind of means to both communities and especially your school?
Yeah, they play in a different conference, and we talked a little bit about and we will here in a minute about us being independent. we're affiliated with the MIAA conference. In all of our sports, that's what we compete in. And so because of the lack of success and some things that we needed to try to regroup as far as our football program, we got permission to go independent from the MIAA in football alone. And, you know, East Central competes in the GAC, the Great American Conference, which is made up of 3 other Oklahoma schools, and the rest of the schools are in Arkansas. And so competing in that league, I think there's actually 6 schools in Oklahoma and 6 in Arkansas total. It's 12 schools in that conference. But competing in that league, it's a close schedule. So the rivalry between East Central and NSU goes back a long time. We've played more games against them than we have any other opponent. I believe 93 total games over the years. And so we played them more than anybody. And so we haven't had the chance to have that rivalry in football because of the GAC's close schedule. But now because of this bowl game, we get to bring back one of the historic traditions of East Central versus NSU. And they're another N7 school like us and affiliated with the Chickasaw Nation. And so they have a lot of tribal support as well. And so it just made sense that 2 of the 3 N7 schools in Division II get to face off in the inaugural First Americans Bowl, and both heavily supported by tribal communities.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing, honestly. Because I mean, I was about to mention as well East Central's roots with I guess Native American culture and heritage. I know their stadium is Koi Ishto was recently renamed that nice historical stadium out there in Ada. It is.
It is in Ada. Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely a bucket list stadium while I'm here out here in Oklahoma. I love a good Works Progress Administration stadium.
Yeah, for sure. And their athletic director is a good friend of mine. He's actually used to coach here at NSU. And I think he's an NSU graduate. And so Mr. Cole's just a great guy. And, you know, it just made sense to have the inaugural first 2 teams are the ones that are supported by some of the largest indigenous folks, tribal communities in the entire country. And so with that support and the connection, and both of us having N7 status and both of us having pretty successful seasons in football this year, this just made this a no-brainer to be the inaugural football game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I guess something that I'm curious about is if East Central was off the table, like what other teams would you have been looking at this year?
Of course, you know, the way it was set up through 7 clans, the folks that are involved in that third party, they wanted to bring people to the table that had some indigenous background and also had some tribal affiliations. And so I think they were looking at several schools that had some possible tribal affiliations, but you got to take into consideration whether or not they're actually in the playoffs or playing in another bowl or whether they had a successful season. So it's tough you don't want to bring somebody in that didn't win a game the entire season, because then it doesn't create the atmosphere that you would like and you know, the hoopla that surrounds something that could be a really good game. And so there were other schools that were being looked at, but it just made perfect sense because of East Central and their tribal affiliation and being an N7 school like we are. Very few of those to have this be the one. So
Absolutely. So a question I have about I guess about the the events surrounding the bowl game
mhm.
and the support that Tahlequah has given, because a bowl game is so much more than the game. I mean, it invigorates communities. It's just the events surrounding it. I mean, you name it. There's just a lot of stuff surrounding a bowl game. So I guess what impact has or what contributions has the city of Tahlequah itself made to the bowl game, or like what are they contributing to just a general fanfare? Or what are they like looking out to get out of it as well too as a city?
Yeah, you know, the city of Tahlequah is it's a small local community that has, you know, been around for so long, and just they work together with Northeastern State and Cherokee Nation. They're the 3 main entities that all collaborate together to host so many great events that they have throughout the year. But you know, bringing this one to the city of Tahlequah, they're just tickled to death and thrilled to have this as part of, you know, this is part of the heritage that takes place here every single year. And you know, being announced, you know, at the time that it was announced was just a great, huge blessing for the city of Tahlequah. And they're just so excited about it. They're going to be heavily involved. We're having a banquet and a luncheon on the Friday before, and then we're having a parade actually Friday evening before. And both teams, both marching bands, both cheer squads, pom squads, as well as most of the people in the local community all the townsfolk. This is one of our annual Christmas parades, but it's also going to encompass this entire event as well. So everybody's going to be involved in the parade, marching together, a huge event for everybody. And so it's going to be kind of cool to see, 150, 250 football players together, along with the local community football players and the local bands and the cheer and the pom squads and the support all together in this parade and supporting, this important first game. So
Yeah, that sounds exciting. I mean, if you have a bowl game, you gotta have a parade. I mean, I know
yeah,
people think about the Rose Bowl and all those old bowls back in the day. They used to have the parade. So I mean, I'm excited too. I mean, I think I might have to modify my travel plans just to make the parade as
you
well.
should get here early. The parade starts at 6 o'clock on Friday the 5th. We're going to have our luncheon Friday on the 5th at noon at Cherokee Casino at the Chota Center. Cherokee Nation is sponsoring that event as well, and they're going to feed both football teams. We're going to have some local celebrities and some other celebrities there to speak. We'll have a pregame press conference between both teams and coaches and some players involved. We'll have the deputy chief of the Cherokee Nation that's going to speak, the president of our university. I believe East Central's president is going to try to attend as well. And so it's going to be a well-attended event with a lot of diplomats and dignitaries that will hopefully be involved. And so it's going to be something really, really cool.
Yeah, that sounds amazing too. The banquet sounds like just a great event. Just can't miss the event. So I guess going on to just the independent schedule as well. I mean, I know we talked about discussing that. So this year, your first year as independent, you guys had two subdivision two teams and one FCS school. I guess looking at it, of course, like an independent schedule is not easy to make by any stretch of the imagination. That's why even programs such as Army, my favorite team are, I mean, going to conferences. So I guess what's a scheduling approach as the only Division two independent?
It's tough. You nailed it. I mean, it's very tough. And fortunately for us, we've got a guy that works in our department that you've dealt with, Mr. Don Beath, who's just an expert in trying to figure those tough things out. And he worked diligently night and day, making hundreds of phone calls and calling football coaches and athletic directors. And I got involved at some point too, once we got to the potential that we had to, kind of drive it home that we needed to get somebody on the schedule. But Mr. Veith, our assistant athletic director of communications, just did a phenomenal job of just beating the bushes like crazy, trying to find scheduling and making things work and shuffling things around. And it's tough. It really is, because there's a lot of schools that they're either a closed schedule or they're full with their conference schedules. And so, what helped us was when we were allowed to go and independent and leave the MIAA in football and go look for our own scheduling. We just passed what was called week 0 that same year in NCAA Division II, which gave us an extra week of participating in football scheduling. So that opened up a lot of other folks' schedules, which gave us that opportunity to shuffle a lot of things around and to put a schedule together. But man, I'm telling you, it was extremely tough. And we're going to be independent next year as well, for sure. We're still in the phases of trying to figure out when we will come back into the MIAA, and we'll have some meetings in the near future to discuss that on ramp on how we're going to get back into the conference. But right now, we'll be independent next year, depending on how the scheduling goes and the conference discussions happens in the next few weeks on whether we'll be back in the MIAA the following year. So.
It's very intriguing. I think a question I have regarding the schedule, I guess this year or the next upcoming year, 2026, you guys already have, I mean, so many games scheduled. You guys are on pace, for as best as you can in this situation, scheduling a good amount of games. You have two Division One schools on the schedule, and I know a lot of college football fans, when they think about, I guess, playing a division lower, they think about getting paid, like the smaller schools getting paid and everything. So was scheduling Stephen F. Austin and Northern Colorado, the two FCS schools that are already on your schedule, was that more of a thing of necessity, or is that something that's like helping to bring funding to the athletic department?
It's a little bit of both, because scheduling is so tough. We have to get really we just have to find the avenues that we can make work. And so you have to look at the big picture as well. When you're independent, you're trying to travel all over or bring teams in from all over, it's the cost is sometimes a little bit more than you can absorb. So you look at these Division I schedules and you think, okay, if they pay us, we could at least get our trip paid for, and that helps absorb some of the cost in travel. And so, Mr. Veith, our assistant AD for communications, found those two openings, and we made it work. And we're going to get a little bit of a payday. It will cover at least our travel cost and fulfill those dates. And honestly, gives us national exposure for recruiting, and we'll be on ESPN. We'll be live televised on a huge market that we would never be on before at a Division II. And so giving us that type of exposure, having most of our travel expenses, paid for through the paid games really helps us financially. And then recruiting wise, it's just huge. And honestly, the way our program has turned around, we think that we will be very competitive in those games, and we think it'll be fun to watch and definitely fun to participate in.
Yeah, I mean, what a big time stage for those players. I mean, I'm excited to see how you guys compete, and I mean, I think you guys can really take it to both Stephen F. Austin and Northern Colorado. I'm very intrigued to see it.
Yeah, we're excited about it. This is the first time in a long time that we've had this type of success. We had 6 NFL teams come to our campus this year to evaluate players, and we haven't had an NFL team on our campus in many, many years. But to have 6 different teams come in and start to evaluate players, it says a little bit about our program and kind of where we're heading. And it's just excitement. The excitement's building, and we're blessed that we're going to have the opportunity to play on national television.
So a question I have too with the 2025 schedule as well. So I mean, I know it's not an easy thing to talk about, the whole Lincoln University, because I know that their operation has come under fire from, I think, USA Today of all outlets. And I just want to ask you, I guess, whatever information you want to divulge about scheduling them and about that experience. I'm sure it's something that I guess my listeners / readers be interested in just hearing, I guess, that experience of scheduling a school like Lincoln. And that's not to fault you with the situation you're in.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's like a very weird situation there in Oakland.
Yeah, I wasn't very familiar with him. Don Veith, our director for communications, who did the scheduling, he had a little bit of familiarity with them just through some friends and associates. But, I come to learn a little bit more about their program when we got involved in scheduling them here. And they play all their games on the road. They don't have a home environment. And so, everything that they do is the travel. And we knew that going in. So we needed a home game our first year last year to fill a date. And there was nobody that we could get to come play us during that particular date for our home game. And we really didn't have a choice. It came down to that was our choice. And in order to get them here last year for that particular home game, we had to give them, we basically had to tell them we'd play them 2 years. We would play them this year as well. And they would not come unless we gave them another year contract. And for that reason, we had them on the schedule this year. And that's the only way that they would come and fulfill that date that we could not get filled last year. So.
It's interesting. Yeah. I'm not surprised that they would drive a bargain like that, just given everything too, that's going on with that program. And I know it got you guys a lot of exposure as well on social media, just for the thorough beatdown you guys gave them.
Yeah, and they've had their struggles, and I got to visit with the coach on several occasions, and he's got a really good plan. He really wants to do something great. And giving some students and athletes a chance that wouldn't normally have a chance to compete at this level. And so he has the right mindset. I just don't think they have everything kind of lined up in their favor to get done what his vision is. And so he's got a great vision, and I understand that he's making a valued effort and trying to put that vision together. But they've had some roadblocks, and hopefully they can have a chance to overcome those. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is difficult. I mean, for them as well. I mean, if you guys are independent, they're, I guess, an independent to the max. Just not having a home stadium at all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's tough when you don't have a home stadium and you got to jump on a plane every week to go play somebody else. That's just tough. And I don't know how they've survived this long, but can you imagine trying to recruit young men to say, hey, we're going to be away the entire year? So that's tough.
Absolutely. I think my last question I have about the schedule is noticing that you guys were able to get a home and home with West Florida, which is probably one of the most well-known Division twos in the game right now. I mean, they're almost like close to a dynasty with how successful they've been since they started the program. I guess how did that series come to be? Getting such a well-known program to come to Tahlequah.
Well, so it, when you're in this independent scheduling like we are, the only school that's like this, you're just looking for any opportunity out there, and the opportunities are just not a lot. And what we do find is the upper echelon, the schools like the Ferris and the Saginaw and the West Florida, those teams who have historic successful programs, they have a hard time finding people to play them. Nobody wants to get beat down every time that they show up, and so for those reasons, they have open dates, and they don't they don't fill all their dates because nobody wants to show up and play them. And so when we found out that they had some open dates, we knew that it would be a 2-year deal. And the only way that we could satisfy that, was to, they came here this year, we got to go there next year. And so we like Lincoln, they just didn't want to do it one time. They wanted to do it on a 2-year deal, which is what everybody does. It's a home and away type thing, where Lincoln, it's always away. But anyhow, when we found out that their date lined up with the one that we needed, and we could make that promise to come back, we knew they were a great team. We knew that they were having hard time scheduling because they're so good. But you know what? You got to play some of those teams to prove and at least set the bar to where you're at, or to at least give your team maybe a measuring stick on where you need to be. And honestly, they came in here this year and they were lucky to get out with the win. They're still competing in the playoffs right now, but we had the opportunity to win that game. We were tied going into the last few minutes of that game, and we had an opportunity we win that game. We're in the playoffs right now. So, but anyhow, we're going back there next year. Hopefully, we'll play them just as well next year as we played them this year. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be rooting for you guys in that game too, because man, like talk about a great story. I mean, with all the issues that you guys have had like competitively the past decade or so, for you guys to almost beat the US Florida Argonauts, quite the story. I mean, college football is all about the great upsets and everything. So it's really, I'm hoping you guys pull it off this year or
Yeah, it's
2020.
been fun. I'm looking forward to it next year. I'm looking forward to this next game against East Central, bringing back this historic rivalry that's been taking place for almost 100 years now. We get an opportunity to do that again, and against another great school with an indigenous background right here in the state of Oklahoma. And they're going to travel well. They're going to bring lots of folks over. We're going to have lots of great events. Going to have a parade, and so it's just going to be exciting. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I am too, honestly, and I'm just glad that I was able just to find you guys and put you guys on my radar. I mean, you guys will definitely be a program that I'll be rooting for in the future. Just will definitely have like my eyes on too. Honestly, I mean, I'm really wishing the best in this difficult road in the next couple of years of independence.
Well, we appreciate that, and hopefully you get to come down early and join us in our luncheon and hang out with us and come be in the parade with us. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can at least try to talk my wife into the parade. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah,
there's already a Christmas parade happening out here in our hometown of Elgin, our small town of Elgin that we're planning to go to. So give us all the Christmas time parades, and I mean, I'm sure that'll sweeten the deal a bit. So I mean, I'll try to see about the luncheon, but yeah, like the parade, we're probably gonna be there.
perfect. We'll look forward to it.
Thank you, sir. Well, Mr. Sizemore, is there anything final that you want to add or promote about your program before we sign
No,
off?
we appreciate the exposure. We appreciate you allowing us to be on this to help us get our name out there and talk a little bit about our story. And it's a great story. We're a small town in the eastern side of Oklahoma. We're in one of the poorest communities in the United States. We're a teacher's college. We're blue collar. We don't put out doctors and lawyers and engineers. We don't have billions of dollars coming back in to support the athletic programs like a lot of schools do, and no fault of anybody's, but we just don't have that. And we've been the underdog for such a long time, and for just a short period of time, and hopefully more in the future. We're getting a little bit of our just due for just working hard, and we're excited, and we're glad that people like you are paying attention to us, and we appreciate it a lot.
Well, thank you, sir. It means a lot. I'm glad that I can just showcase your school on the small platform that I do have. But I mean, I don't think you could have put it any more beautifully than that. Honestly, just a feel good story that makes college athletics like great and worth following. I mean, just the way you put it to both
It's
off.
hard to see those kind of things in today's day and age of college athletics, and we're glad to be a part of what should be. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Sizemore, so much for joining and taking time out of your busy day. Looking forward to the first Saturday of December and the first Friday as well. So thank you again. And for everyone watching and listening, thanks for watching, listening, taking your time. Peace, love, and soul, the Burger Popper.
thank you.